when I got to Minnesota and was coaching quarterbacks and back at Purdue, there was a thing called, not a thing, but we used to get together. There's a thing called a one-back clinic, which some people can have heard about. It's kind of a internal cult at that time, I guess is what it was, of crazy coaches who didn't line up in the I formation and run into each other. And we had them at different places across the country, at different locations. And a guy named Noel Mazzoni, who many people know now, is the offensive coordinator at UCLA. He was actually a quarterback guy at Minnesota before I got there. And we'd have different meetings, and we had one at Washington State. And I think those guys were there. Mike Leach was there. Noel was there. I mean, just a number of guys. That's where I met Dana. Sonny Dykes, way before he was even when he was assistant coach. And so there were a number of guys that were invited to these different meetings where we sat and we shared, and you start to blend different principles with different coaches. And that's actually where I ran into a guy named Bob Stitt, who now is very, very famous because of some plays that he's run, and Dana was talking about in the Orange Bowl a couple years ago, who's at the Colorado School of Mines. So at these little invitation deals, it was once a year, you'd have all these guys with these crazy ideas, and we'd all leave, and you'd watch games at night and see all these plays. And it's kind of blended in the different deals. Some guys won't get away from who they really are. Other guys kind of moved into some different facets. And I think right now you see, because of that, not just at Washington State, but you watch UCLA pretty close, you'll see a lot of things that you see being done here, or done at West Virginia, or done at SMU, or done at a couple different places. And there's other guys that sneak in there that have been involved in it. You know, Kevin Wilson, and Rich Rodriguez has been at one. You know, so where you're trying to figure out how to blend what fits with you, with some sorts of spread offenses that are run based, and some guys that throw the ball primarily. And you know, we try to be somewhere in the middle of that, and look for different things that can help us. So, you know, that's kind of how the thing got going. You know, because there's different parts of offensive philosophy that guys share, and there's parts that nobody ever talks about, but you know, it's what you believe in, and some people understand it, some people don't. But you know, I've said from day one, there's a million ways to skin a cat. You know, the key is you have to you don't necessarily need to know everything about it and what to do. You need to know what to do when it's not going right. You know, how to fix those things. And because of that, you can't dabble in three or four. I don't believe dabble in three or four different things. I mean, you gotta know what you're doing in one specific area and be able to make adjustments when those things break down.